Hey, what's coming up in your immediate future, huh? Let's take a look at the sky mirror and the chart of this next week for you. And I can already tell you out front, it's not going to be a normal New Year's. We got a new moon January 1st. It's right on Pluto, and it squares Uranus, which is stopped in the middle of December and throwing its own brand of chaos into things and revolutionary new thought, some enlightenment from Urania, so what does a new moon on Pluto mean? Well, Pluto for most of us is police. Squaring Uranus, there could be power problems and block your electricity and your motors and all of that stuff. Power outages. Worst case, the worst kind of Pluto that there is around, believe it or not, is plutonium. I got a master's in toxicology, and by golly, there's nothing that compares to plutonium. It's 1,000 times more poisonous than anything else. 1 microgram, 1/1,000,000th of a gram of plutonium in your body will make a cancer. It's 100% cancer. Yeah, not like anything else. And then if you mock it and and it gets out of your body, some other organism will take it up and put it back in the environment, and the plutonium will go on for literally millions of years to continue to kill. You don't see this in nature. This is man-made poison of an incredible power. So all this bickering over atomic power and Iran and all this stuff, it's just crap. It's just, people telling us now we gotta have nuclear reactors to get through global warming. Geez, come on. Think about the future. Think about the next 20 or 50 or 100 generations of mankind. Now I've had my piece. Let's get on and see what's going on for you in the coming week. You got a nasty T-square, we call it. See the red right triangle? Jupiter's filling it in a bit too towards the end of next week. But the most important thing is, here's Mars. Mars is going from 9 to 14 degrees of Libra. And as you start your week, it's at 9. And 9 happens to be where Uranus is, in Aries. So Mars is opposing Uranus. Now this is an explosive, violent confrontation between, armed, young, Roman kind of people. And who's Uranus? Independent, free-thinking Uranians, homeless people. I don't know, people on strike. The problem is that up here is Pluto. It's hard to see him here, but Pluto is at 11 degrees of Capricorn. Let's see, Capricorn starts here. So here's a marker for Pluto. And Pluto he's an extremist. And the worst thing, the plutonium on the Earth, here's the mentally unbalanced policeman who's got, the SWAT team power. And how many times did they shoot that poor crazy lady in Washington, D.C.? Every cop around opened up and they had umpteen hundred bullet holes in the car. So it's funny how Pluto is, huh? Maybe it's not funny. Here's a good side. Venus is still slow in the sky. You might get a little love and sweetness on this cycle, but I got to tell you, that full moon, or that new moon coming up on the 1st, it's in all of the New Year's celebrations. More on that in a little bit. Let's go through this day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of this pattern. And you can tell all right away that there's 4 points of when this tightens up and it all becomes, almost impossible to keep your temper. And here's policemen on the spot, and they're afflicted with Mars. They're holding on to Mars. They're going to do too much violence. Now this could also be terrorists, anarchists, bombers. And squaring Uranus, they're going to hit power supplies, airplanes, things that go around and around. Yes. So look out. You may be looking at some large events here, because this is going to carry through a month before it settles down. And with the new moon on that celebration of New Year's, which is really a magical ceremony, believe it or not, that everybody's doing unconsciously. It could go on even further. I don't want to speculate right now. Let's just take a look at your world. What's going to go on around you? Pluto for you is going to be bugs like it is for me. Some of my cats are starting to get fleas. They're starting to itch. I bring them in from outside. Ugh. You know, we found a dead centipede out in the driveway the other day. A big one. Pluto's already acting up. It's always bugs. Especially mosquitoes are like little vampires come along and... Okay, so you can get violently angry and swat at the mosquitoes and work some of this karma out. And you'll feel it a little bit on Wednesday night, huh? The moon's going by. That's the, let's see, Thursday's the 26th, Wednesday's the 25th. Oh, that's Christmas. Well, I must have warned you about that. There could be a Christmas problem, huh? I mean, if you were really angry and wanted to really muck up the works, Christmas certainly would be remembered, wouldn't it? So you may have already gone through a large event I don't know about yet. But let's get to our predictive period here and say that Thursday night, here's the square to Venus, and so you're not getting a lot of rest and sweets and goodies, and it goes through Friday morning. The square is about 3 o'clock in the morning here, Friday morning the 27th. And then things get interesting. First, here's a nice trine to Neptune, huh? And there's some religion and some art and some compassion around. And that looks to be, you know, just around noontime. And a few hours later, or a few minutes later even, there's a sextile to the sun. And fathers start singing. And here's Mercury in harmony. The kids want to sing. And this is a good time for church. This is a good time to remember that Father in the sky is the sun. And I talk to him just like my father. That's it. You know, that's the best way to understand it all. Because that's the kind of answers you'll get when you question Father. He'll tell you what your father would have done, or what would you do as a father, or I love my father. So Friday's a good day to express that. The moon's in Scorpio. It continues through the day right up to midnight or so when there's a nice sextile to Pluto, which is the all-important powerhouse coming up here in a couple days. So, you know, this is a good time to handle the bugs a little bit. Saturday on December 28th, the moon's still in Scorpio. It starts with some laughter. And here's a trine to Jupiter. And, gee, we're all getting through these nasty holidays. And there's some fun here, you know. Turn on the funny movies and make some jokes and be around some kids. And so lawyers and professors are all having fun. The wise men are having fun. It continues through Saturday afternoon. And here's a conjunction to Saturn. Normally, I would mark that guy in red and say, uh-oh, Saturn is here, we're all going to worry, you know. But Saturn's trining Jupiter, and this is the time when Santa Claus, or not Santa Claus, but Scrooge here, could turn into Santa Claus. So I'm liking this period, even though there's cold and there's ice and we're on limited budget. It seems like we're kind of happy here on the 28th. I know that the unemployment is running out if the Republicans don't act, and they're going to punish the poor and go on like an unconscious, psychotic Scrooge. I can't believe they're making fun of the president for shaking Castro's hand. Raul Castro, you know, you live longer in Cuba. They got better medical. They got a lot of stuff. It's much safer and healthier in Cuba than here. And to rat on these communists like there's some kind of Hitler is wrong. So first, and then they're talking about the president lied when he said you can keep your doctor. He lied, and he shook Castro's hand. My God, our politics have descended to the level of the second grade. I can't even watch it anymore. That's my Saturn. So don't watch any politics here. You know, this is a good time for Santa Claus, and I'd even recommend you start your Christmas holidays here on Friday and go through Saturday and even Sunday morning. Look, here's a sextile to Venus. It's right about breakfast time, a little before breakfast. Stay in bed late. It shifts. The moon goes into Sagittarius here just after breakfast on Sunday the 29th. And there's a square to Neptune. There's confusion and problems with liquids and water and confusion and delusion here in the middle of Sunday the 29th. Doesn't clear up until late, midnight or so, when there's finally a nice trine to Uranus, and the computers and the TV and the mentality, rationality. That's what Urania bestows upon you, is reasonableness. What's reason? Reason is one of Odin's ravens. Here we have Alala, the smartest raven in the world, Hawaiian. Monday morning, you'll have some zip in your step. There's a nice sextile to Mars. Everybody feels in brotherhood Sunday night. We're out to get things fixed Monday morning. Not too bad, considering it's Sagittarius moon. Goes right through till Tuesday morning on December 31st, when the moon goes into Capricorn right here. It's about breakfast time, and the SHIT kind of starts to hit the fan, because it starts with a Neptune sextile Tuesday night. I mean, it seems like everybody's going to drink here, and they're going to fly the flag, and all the pretty stuff that will happen. The fireworks, oh yeah, this is all Neptune. Sparkly, colorful things. Add a little alcohol. Looks like a big party going on here. But I wouldn't drink too much, because you're going to go into emergency here. And this is midnight, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The moon's going to go by Pluto. And when it hits that 8-degree stuff, uh-oh, there's a fire, there's a fight, there's an angriness. Here's police, here's bombers, and they're squaring Uranus, and they knocked out the power supply, and the lights go out. And how can you celebrate too long here if there's no power? So this is not your ordinary New Year's celebration, folks. Not at all. Wednesday, let's see. Might settle down a little bit here on dinner time when there's a sextile to Saturn, but whoa, I don't know. Thursday you could still be in shock. And the moon going by Venus here Thursday night on the 1st, the moon's in Aquarius. We might get a little bit of rest. And here's the heroes are coming out. The protectors Friday morning on the 3rd, but it's cold and it's icy. Here's a square to Saturn Friday night on the 3rd. Not so hot. I'm sorry. Stay home Friday night on the 3rd. Saturday gets a little better. Good day for music and religion on the 4th, as the moon goes by Neptune. And on the 5th, Sunday the 5th, there's a lot of harmony and good sense here. The Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury all piling up and feeling good about stuff. So there's recovery here from this nasty Uranus, Mars, Pluto, T-square. Don't celebrate New Year's. It's a magical ceremony, and it'll have this